Hey everybody, I'm Cheryl Swift, the Duchess of Rock and Roll. I'm here today in lovely, sunny Nashville, Tennessee.
Yeah, baby.
With Kyle Daniel.
Yeah. What's happening?
What's happening, baby?
You know, just enjoying Americana Fest, trying to keep it all together.
Wishing there was more coffee and more.
Yeah.
Hey, look, we're at, what is this? How do you say it? Zoli
Coffee.
Zoli Coffee here in Nashville, in the middle of the Gulch where the really rich, cool people hang out.
Yeah.
Which is, why wouldn't we be here?
Exactly. That's what I was
We just
thinking.
had a great lunch at, what's it called?
Peg leg porker.
Oh, yeah, advertisement for the Peg Leg Porker. Delicious food.
Yeah, the ribs were great.
Yeah, I had the pulled pork, and it was impressive. Yeah. I'm actually enjoyed a meal. I didn't have great food yesterday, so I was happy to eat. I was starving when we got here.
Do you want to call somebody out that...
No.
Okay.
No.
We'll talk about that later.
We're going to talk about that off camera. So, we're here at Americana Fest. It's going well so far.
Yeah.
I actually was not a good friend last night.
It's all good. It's all good. There's so much stuff to do that...
I messed up.
I get it.
So, what had happened was... I found out Kyle had a show last night. At the same time, my friend Kendall Marvel had a show last night. And I had already told Kendall I would be at his show. And one of the things that you and I were talking about at lunch is keeping your word.
Absolutely.
And especially in our business.
Yeah.
It's not always the way things go.
Right. Well, yeah. And especially in Nashville.
Yeah. Well, it's
Double
not just
especially.
that. Double especially. It's just in the music world. I don't know how you feel about this, but for me, if I give my word and I say I'm coming to your show, I'm coming.
Right.
I've only one time, with explanation, showing up and apologizing, left someone's show to go see a Foo Fighter.
Well,
it's the Foo Fighters.
It's a Foo
That was
Fighter.
it was a once in a lifetime thing.
Yeah.
And my friend was like, "Why are you here? Goodbye."
Yeah.
He goes, "You know my set.
Yeah.
I love
Get
you
the hell
anyway."
outta here.
Right. So anyway, I missed yesterday, but yesterday was your birthday.
Yeah.
So-
Birthday showcase. We had a huge crowd at Acme.
Yeah.
Um,
When I was there earlier trying to wish you happy birthday, since I wasn't going to be at the show, I got to meet the guys that played with you last night.
Right. They looked the part, and that's how you probably found them.
Well, I actually had looked them up, and then a lady was like, "Excuse me, are you Kyle Daniel?"
I know.
And
So-
the guy's like, "No."
and he starts speaking Swedish.
And he starts speaking Swedish, and the girl's like a little
She's kinda
discombobulated.
like,
I don't understand where you're from, Kyle.
Yeah.
Now,
So,
where do you hail from?
I'm originally from Bowling Green, Kentucky.
Oh, okay.
So I'm right up the road. But I've been in Nashville for like 10 years. So
Oh, okay.
I feel like I can claim Nashville at this
Right,
point.
10 years, I think. Now, and you had a birthday yesterday. You turned 26, right?
Oh, yeah.
Always 26.
Always 26.
I always say 26. Mm-hmm.
I don't have a white lighter on me though, so that's really good. Like, is it 26 or 27? What's the year where you like don't want to be found with a white lighter on you at any point
at
in
any
time?
time? Yeah. I always tell people now, it's like, yeah, I'm 34. We're going to go with 34.
Right.
I'm so not 34, but if they want to guess it, I let them.
Right.
You know?
Sometimes I get way younger.
Uh-huh.
It depends on
You
how,
have a little bit of a baby face. It probably depends on your
my
beard status.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If I got a 5 o'clock shadow, I look 23. If
Oh,
it's bigger, I look 40.
right.
You know.
You're somewhere in the middle, and that's
and I'm
just
somewhere in
fine.
between. Right.
That's so funny. Well, part of the reason I wanted to talk to you today is because Kyle has this EP out. It's amazing.
Thank you so much.
So this is really funny. Kyle and I, this is how we met. I just think it's so funny. So I'm in Glasgow, Kentucky to see Black Ray Smoke, my boys.
Mm-hmm.
My friend Scotty Bratcher shows up at dinner with this cute curly-haired blonde dude. And he eats dinner with me, and we talk, and nice to meet you. I don't ask any questions. Then a couple months later, I'm at dinner with my friend Ben Ratliff.
Yeah.
And he's like, "Dude, my friend Kyle has this album coming out. I'm going to play you a snippet of a song." And while he's pulling up the SoundCloud or wherever it was, I Google you, and I was like, "Dude, I know him." And he goes, "What?" I go, "I had dinner with him in Glasgow, Kentucky
like,
at
"Get outta
a
here."
barbecue joint."
Yeah.
I guess that's our thing now, barbecue
Yeah.
and coffee.
Barbecue and
coffee. And so Ben was singing your praises, and I said, "Well, I feel like an idiot because I never asked what you did or who you were, because why would I ask that at dinner?"
Right.
We were just breaking bread and having a good conversation.
Having some good pulled pork. Breaking bread. Pork. I love it.
It's like we're in college today. I don't know.
Right.
We're going to go 24 today because we're both just...
We're also going to do a barbecue and coffee special after this, so stay tuned for that.
Yes, it's coming to a bathroom.
Oh, God. Just immediately. Gotta go.
Gotta go. Interview's over. Oh, my God. So one of the things that I was going to ask you about on the album is our mutual friend, Brent Cobb.
Yeah.
I'm representing today. Brent is singing on one of your songs. Now, did you write this with Brent, or is he just singing on it?
Yeah.
Or
we co-wrote it together. Brent and I have been buddies since college, and obviously his career over the past little bit's kind of skyrocketed.
Yes.
So it's been tough for us to get together and get in the same place at the same time.
He's been a little busy.
Yeah, he's been a little bit busier.
Just on that tour with Stapleton, no big deal.
Yeah,
no big whoop.
Yeah,
just on late night TV.
And you know, prior to that, I was doing some kind of side guy stuff, and I was staying busy. I think I did like 230 dates with Claire Dunn one year.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Yeah, and we were just never seemed to match up. And I guess it was January of 2016 we got to get together, and that's what came out. And
it's just, it's funny because I love them all. And I hear different influences inside of them.
Right.
And then I was listening to this the other day, and I'm like, that sure sounds like Brent. Because I didn't have a hard copy yet.
Right.
And I was like, that sounds like Brent. And then I was like, well, I'm right. It's really, Brent's voice is very distinct. Like, I wouldn't collapse him with any other artist. Where some artists you might think, like today I was listening to your music on the way here again, and I was like, you're unique. Like, you can hear influences, but I'm not like, oh, he sounds like... I really don't like it when people do that to people anyway.
Right.
Like,
put you in a box.
Right. It's like, oh, you look like, or you sound like Stapleton, or oh, you look like, or you sound like so-and-so. And then it's like, okay, but that's not who I am.
Right.
I'm Kyle Daniel.
Right.
Like, and so I can hear influences, but I would like you to speak to, like, your musical influences behind how you came to these 5 songs and the things you're writing.
Yeah. Greg Allman was kind of he was my hero.
I knew that was going to be your first answer.
Yeah.
You can feel it in there. You can feel that homage to the, not like you sound like them, but there's a love of that Southern rock,
roots.
gospel roots thing in your music.
Yeah. I think that was when the whole game changed for me. And then, of course, when he died, I never understood, like, when people got super upset, about, like, so-and-so. But when Greg Allman died, it hit me like it was like my own father passing away.
I was with Scotty. That's the day I interviewed Scotty.
Really?
We had been backstage. I'm going to cry. And we all walked out, and my phone started blowing up, so I picked it up, and I was like... And I walked over to Scotty Munn, was the tour manager at the time for Black Race Smoke. And I said, Scotty, he goes, they already got the call. Because he knew exactly. And then we walked, we all, during the middle of the one song, they do a break. I'm sorry, brain warble. Anyway, I'm going on 4 hours of sleep, people. They always do this break in the middle, and they broke into Allman Brothers. I don't know which song it was at this point. It's the most famous one. And everybody was crying, like all 2,000 of us. Because by this time, people in the crowd knew, and Charlie's like, this goes out to our brother. He's such an influence on Southern rock in general, especially Black Gray Smoke. They were friends with him. They had done projects with him. And I cried, Prince Day, Merle Haggard Days, I have to admit, was the hardest for me.
Right.
But Greg Allman Day, being with Southern rock legends in the making, watching them mourn the death of their friend and Scotty. Yeah, I know it had to be hard on you too.
Man, it was, I'm glad I didn't have anything going on that day.
Yes.
Because it happened, it was in the morning. I remember when it happened. It happened about mid-morning. Mm-hmm. And I went outside to smoke a cigarette, and I tried to, like, keep it together. And then it was almost as though a light switch hit, and I just lost it, because he lyrically and emotionally, and his whole aura, his vibe, his, the way he dressed, the way he held himself, he was the good Southern outlaw. He was a bad boy, but he was a good old
bad boy.
Yeah, he was a good old bad boy, right? Like, if that makes sense.
But he was a cool outlaw. If there is such a thing. Like, he did it his way. He had longevity.
Right.
talent for days.
His lyrics were super meaningful and in depth and heartfelt, and you know, I think that's
a huge loss.
We're coming to a thing right now with music where the fans, I feel like personally, they're craving the guts,
quality,
the guts, the
real,
the realness.
I want
raw.
real.
Yeah.
Like I think we're having. I think the pendulum is swinging back. I don't talk about other genres or likes or dislikes,
right?
But I will say this: I call what's happening country roots revival. I think I might have coined it because I said that once. Somebody
I love
goes,
that.
I said there's a country roots revival because even though people are just now in the last few years finding Sturgill and Chris and Cody and Blackberry Smoke and Sam Lewis and like Isbell and American Aquarium and Brent.
Yeah.
That's country roots revival to me. You call it Americana Fest all you want, but it's country roots revival. We're putting real topics in real songs with real emotion.
Right.
And for a while, some of the music scene has been, in my opinion, devoid of that.
Yeah. And
so if you look at someone like Greg Allman and you try to write in that realm, that's I mean, he's royalty.
Yeah.
But I'm talking about writing a Southern rock song that's worthy of attention. Right. And I feel like my friends, that all the people I just mentioned, some of whom are my friends, that country roots revival is happening. And I think this album is I don't know how you genreify yourself, but it's like Southern rock, leaning towards rock. And I really like it. I really like the vibe you have going on in this record.
Thank you.
When you were... Hi, Nashville Billiard and Patio. That's a really loud van. When you were writing it, do you think of yourself in a genre, or do you just write what comes to you?
I just feel like, once again, like you said, the real stuff, the raw stuff, the stuff that has heart in it, and that you want to think people will connect to. Right. I mean, I think as artists, like, a lot of times we write things and we step in the way of ourselves. We step in between ourselves as an artist in the crowd, and we become this kind of like middleman sometimes, that it's like you try to please yourself and your fans, and you get caught in this like weird mode.
And you're trying to make it perfect.
Right.
And really, I do that too in the interviews. Like, well, should I ask that question? Like I'm trying to make it where it's relatable.
Right.
And personal, but also what would the fans want to hear. And then a lot of times I prep for an interview and then I sit down, I let it all go, and what comes out comes out.
Right.
Which is how I'm assuming. I'm not really a songwriter, so I don't sit down to do this for a living, but it has to be a challenge.
It is. And and it's kind of one of those things that it's like, I've got my phone out, like somebody will say something and I'll pull my notepad out and like, boom, here's the title.
Notes.
Yeah, here's
like, this should be in a song.
Exactly. Yeah. Here's an idea, or we all steal from each other. So like, I may go to a show and hear somebody's lyrics that I'm like, oh my Lord, that was like very well spoken. I love the way this was, said or whatever. And so,
and then put your own spin on it at some point.
and you revisit those topics and stuff, and it's like, that's how, Hangover Town came from just that. I don't know. I'm pretty sure that I was about, 7 or 8, give or take, Diet Millers deep when I came up with Hangover Town. But all this to say, Josh Mitchum and I from Jericho Woods got together one day, and it was
nice.
Like, that was the spore of that song that day. Some songs, like Ain't No Difference, Brent came in with the first verse pretty much, and then we took off, and it was like, it just, sometimes it magically happens. Sometimes you hit a brick wall and look at each other for 3 hours and go, all right, let's go get Mexican food.
Yeah, back burner.
Yeah, and
well, and that's the thing. Like I interviewed Tennessee Jet recently. I don't know if you know him, but that dude he blows my mind.
Right on.
And he says this line in this song about the body being a suitcase. I'm paraphrasing. And I said, you say skin bag, and I don't really like it. And he goes, I go, may I borrow that? And he goes, oh yes, you probably should. Yeah, because I say this is a skin bag God gave me, and I'm like, suitcase for my parts is so much better. Like he said it, or like BJ Barnum in American Aquarium's new album sings this long. We all, like, I'm paraphrasing again, but we sing the things that people have trouble saying. Like it's exposing your soul up there.
Right.
And when you're really writing authentically, which I feel you're doing, you show people something that you wouldn't necessarily say, but you'll sing. Right. And that's where people fall in love with songs. And that's what BJ is saying in that song on the new album about, I'm singing things that you wouldn't get to say, and I'm exposed up here.
Right.
You know,
and it's funny you say that, because this time last year, the record wasn't out. I'd been writing and writing and writing. We weren't even slated to go into the studio to cut anything. I was in a 4-year relationship that was falling apart, and life kind of got really heavy really fast.
Mm-hmm.
And it was this record that kind of took me out of the trenches. And That Somebody Ain't Me is kind of one of those songs that where I didn't stand in the way of myself, that I kind of just let
it come out,
let myself say what I needed to say. Because it is tough, I think, and maybe that's something that I probably struggle with a lot as a person too, outside of just being a musician, is like communication, with feelings and what you would normally say to somebody.
Right, like we had a great conversation at lunch that it wouldn't never normally, I wouldn't have maybe, or we wouldn't have shared what we shared if it wasn't like chemistry, where we already are friends, we have mutual friends, we've hung out and broke bread before. You don't always have that relationship with people you meet in music or in life, or your ex bandmates, or your ex. Life is a funny game that we play. And when you meet people who are kindred spirits and you could share your soul with, that's one thing. But if you're getting up night after night and on an album showing yourself, that takes something that most people, I don't think, have.
It's a vulnerable spot, and I think that that those are the kind of songs that people gravitate towards, the ones that are like
rip you open and always. And so, I want the song that's going to make me have an emotion.
Right.
I want to have a visceral response.
Travis Meadows is brilliant. He does, like, I've recently realized after studying him that he does this like sight, smell, taste sort of thing. He puts you there, like when he talks about, like, I smelled like Daddy's Old Spice. Like, and she looked just like paradise.
And
like
Stucky's pecan logs and coffee.
Yes.
Like, you can see the barn where the leg is hanging, and you can, of all the people I know in the music world, and it's a lot, Travis Meadows is like, and I love Levi Lowry, and I mean, Levi's a good friend. A lot of singer-songwriters are my friend. Travis Meadows makes me weep and think about life in a different way.
Absolutely.
His songs are so poignant and moving. And as a songwriter, I mean, what's that like for you, knowing him and touring with him and being friends with him?
We did that show in Lexington. I don't want to say it's intimidating, but it makes you want to go back and work harder. That you go, all right, well, here we go.
How am I gonna get to that mountain, right? Like, how am I gonna? He's that good.
Yeah, he really is.
And to call him my friend is a blessing. Yeah. And
sweetheart of a guy.
Getting the last few years with Riser and Dirks and What We Ain't Got in Jake, and now Kenny has announced that Better Boat is going to be the next new single.
Huge.
To see my friends, to see Brent on stage with Chris, to see Travis, and hopefully you getting these, like, you go out as the opener, and then the next thing you know, you're the touring artist. To see our friends achieve success and to watch their star rise is joy-filled.
Oh, no.
Does it feel that way for you as a songwriter, watching this happen for your friends too?
Oh my God, yes. And Anderson Easton.
And I love Anderson, of course.
We went to MTSU together.
Okay.
And he was getting a production and technology degree while I was doing the music business.
Okay.
Because I thought that, if this whole music thing doesn't work out, I need to be able to make money at some point.
Right, like a job might maybe
like a little bit of
paycheck,
stability,
like whatever.
Yeah, some stability.
Whatever, it's overrated.
It's fine, yeah. And so he and I moved to Nashville together.
You did? I didn't realize that.
Yeah.
I knew you were friends. I didn't know you were like roomies.
Yeah, we lived together for like 7 years, and
I had no idea. I just knew you were friends.
Yeah.
See, I'm learning new things every day.
Yeah.
We didn't cover this at dinner.
No, we got a lot more. We're just peeling back layers. I'm like fruit by the foot. I'm just, but the kind
This is
that changes
like one
flavors.
of those jawbreakers, like with the 72. We're just like on the third layer of the jawbreaker.
We're trying to get it down to like
We've
right
had
here.
2 lunches and coffee.
And
when we get to beer and whiskey, I hate to shudder
Game
to
over.
think what's going to happen.
If you find us in a bar at any point in time,
Don't interrupt us.
yeah, don't interrupt
Because
us.
there's stuff that needs to be said.
Yeah.
Because we share too many people.
We'll probably be there till 4 a.m. when it shuts down. They're like, ma'am, sir,
You could pay your tab and go now.
Yeah, wait.
Then we fight over
you
who
don't even
pays.
have to pay your tab. Just get out of here.
If you guys could just leave your chatty Cathy butts out my bar, I'd be so happy.
Yeah.
Uber would be like, sorry, we can't drive you.
Yeah, right. You're too drunk to even ride.
You can't have a ride.
But yeah, it's cool to see your buddies, to know the hard work and dedication that they put into their craft and the years that it's not, this is some sort of
I know
like
people are like,
overnight
Anderson
success.
is this big deal now. I'm like, Anderson
Has been a
look
big
at
deal.
Chris Stapleton traveling all those years with his band.
Yeah.
Working in honky tonks, playing to 6 people, and now people are discovering him. And I'm like, but here's the thing. There's many, many moons behind him being on TV.
Right.
And on TV and on SNL. Like, there's so many things that people, if they're not with someone from the beginning, they don't know.
Right.
Because you were in a band, now you've been solo. You've had many, many, many years. Since you're only 26, we won't count them.
Right.
But it's not overnight success for anybody.
No. And I think that's, it's almost like, and this is terrible to admit this, but I love American Idol for that very reason, or any of those like contestant shows where you get to watch the pride that their significant other has or that their parents have.
Yep.
That it's almost like, forget the big LA, like TV show thing. Like, that doesn't even matter. I think that it's basic human emotion to me. That it's
like to see someone else get their dream come reality.
Yeah.
When Blackberry Smoke played on Leno, I was bawling.
Yeah.
When Brent played, when Ashley McBride played, when Anderson, when Sturgill played Saturday Night Live, I'm in my living room jumping up and down, crying.
Love it.
Because these are people I was seeing. I saw Stapleton the first time in a bar with 200 people, and 2 years later, 22,000. And when he said to the crowd, who was at that show?
Bam.
I'm like, I was there and I have the set list to prove it.
Yeah. I was one of 200.
I was one of 200
Test
people.
me.
I got evidence and pictures on my phone.
Yeah, love it.
So my hope and goal is that I think actually that you have a great thing going. And I know that you've worked hard and that you've been through some things in your life that make me want it for you more. You know what I'm saying? And I know you're dedicated, and I know you're humble, and I know you're talented. And I always root for that person. Not that I don't root for the others.
The underdog.
The underdog. Travis, I love you, man. I mean, I just never saw anybody work with words the way he does.
I know. I hope someday that I can get in a room with Travis, because I feel like he would put a little seasoning on me, you know, as a songwriter.
I had never had Waffle House, and years ago he made a joke that we should do it together the first time, and so that's where we did our interview.
Love that.
And I had waffles. I don't eat on camera. I ate waffles. Patrick goes, I'm going to film this, and you're going to eat a waffle. I was like, dude.
Fair enough.
Press your luck.
Yeah.
So we ate, and I did an interview because Travis is like, we're going to do that together someday, because he loves Waffle House, and I'd never eaten. Now, I don't know how I got to my age without it. But he's so real, and that's what I love about you, is you're real, and your lyrics and your music show that, and you're super talented.
Thank you.
I know I know you're humble, but I'm so impressed by this album, and to see, and to be your friend, and to get to see where this takes you is thrilling.
Yeah.
I have a good feeling.
It's been surreal, like Monday, Joe Hudak and I become big buddies over at Rolling Stone Country, and he was nice enough to put me on that must-see acts.
I'm driving
at
here
Americana Fest.
and it pops up, and I'm at the, I'm getting coffee, and I'm like, oh my god, Kyle made Rolling Stone Country. like when Ashley McBride, like when a lot of my friends have gotten that, and when I saw your name, I was like, just nothing thrills me more than to see my friends get success. I'm so happy for you, and this is so good, and you have such great friends and people around you supporting you, and don't you feel like, I mean, you could speak to it, but having that around you is important in this world.
Absolutely. And I think that's important in anything that you do. You know, you can't replace true friendship and love, and that support is like, especially with what we do, it's like I might as well be beating my head up against this concrete wall, or have for the past 17, 18 years.
Right.
You know? And it's like, man, sometimes you wake up and you go, what the hell am I doing?
I have a music blog, and I think that.
Yeah.
And then just when I get, like, this is horrible, I get my first real media pass this week.
And then fireworks.
And then all of a sudden my phone is, people are asking me to interview them, and I'm like this. Okay.
Yeah.
Took me a lot of years in the music industry, and then a lot of years trying to build 3 years solid. Ask, rejection, ask, yes. And I've got some big interviews.
Yeah.
And this will be, I think, number 56 or so. And
56?
I think you're 56.
Yeah,
we'll have to count. 56, baby. But nothing is overnight.
Right.
And if you quit midstream, you never get to see the beauty at the end.
Right.
And I've thought about not doing this. Like, what am I doing? Like you said, I'm like, why am I doing this?
Right.
Because I want to support and love on and give a space to people to say what they need to say about their music. It's not a forced interview. It's not like a gossip site or something.
Right.
I'm not out to get gossip. I'm out to promote artists that I love.
Right. Well, and I know, I mean, I appreciate it. I know everybody else that's done it. Like, you know, Daniel Donato and Brent and, you know, everybody.
Sam.
But it's like Sam.
Yeah.
You know, all these cats, it's like, it's folks like yourself that give us a platform to elevate even more and spread the gospel of what it is we're doing, you know, no matter what style that may be.
Right.
That it's like, I feel like I just named off 4 local Nashville cats that are all Americana. All different.
Oh, totally different.
Totally different. And I think a lot of that comes from like influences and, you know.
And who are you going on tour with? Because they're going to say you're that genre.
Right.
They're not going to change your genre if you're, you know, they're just not going to do that.
Yeah.
And that's how you get labeled. I always ask bands, what do you consider yourself? Because here at Americana Fest, there's thousands of flavors.
Right. Yeah. It's bigger than Baskin Robbins. There's more than 31 flavors. So.
Americana Fest, folks, bigger than Baskin Robbins.
Cha-ching. You're welcome, Americana Fest.
I'm totally tweeting that.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, it's a thrill to get to spend the day with you and hang out and break bread. But the people can get your music at KyleDanielMusic.com. The new EP is Kyle Daniel.
Yeah.
That's original, man.
We got a new one on the way, though.
Did you hear that? Did you hear that? There's new music coming from Kyle Daniel.
Yeah.
When can we expect that?
Well, we're going in the studio next week, and so I wanted to get my name out there because I've played with different acts and I've been around the game and I feel like I've made my rounds. People know about me, but they may not know me by name. So that was the reason for the self-titling of this record. But I think the second week in October, the plan is to get this cut next week. Second week in October, release the first single that's coming, and then we'll look at probably next year
for the
release the whole EP.
Got it.
So
wow.
Yeah.
So let's tell the people where they can find you on social media.
Social media, KyleDaniel.music on Instagram, Twitter.
Okay.
Facebook is Kyle Daniel Music, I believe.
Okay.
So
cool.
I'm on Spotify, iTunes, all that good jazz, where everybody else is.
So you can buy the music on iTunes.
Amazon.
Please buy music.
Yeah.
You can listen to it for a minute on Spotify and decide, and then go buy it. You can buy it online, or you can get it on Apple.
Yeah.
Because supporting live music is how he gets to eat and have coffee and barbecue. Coffee and barbecue. So I'm Cheryl Swift, the Duchess of Rock and Roll, here with Kyle Daniel. We're here at Americana Fest, and we've got artists we want to catch. So we wish you all peace, love, and rock and roll.
See you guys.